Oh, snap. Oh, guys. So we're here with today with Marco Johnson. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So for anyone who doesn't know, me and Marco both did SpongeBob and we were for security guards.
Yes.
Okay, so wait, first we get into anything, what was
Oh, I'm scared.
what was your first impression of me? And I'll tell you my first impression of you.
Okay, I was scared of you. I
Oh,
can't lie.
me?
Yeah, you already had friends because you already knew like Jaden and Chase,
Yeah.
and I didn't know. Well, I knew people obviously, but like I felt like our groups were kind of divided, so I was like a little
Mhm.
scared of you and your like sociability.
Oh, no. Wait, I was scared of you. That's why you said that because I was like, I remember our first like interaction because like my first day, you weren't there, right? You weren't at the first rehearsal, right?
I don't think so. I wasn't at the first few.
Okay, yeah. So it was like when we did the read through, and they didn't assign which we were just security guards. They didn't say one or two, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to be security guard too, and so I was like. I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm security guard. I hope I'm security number two. And then Bob Cooper, I think he like flipped a coin.
No, I was there. He had us pick a number 1 through 10,
Uh-huh.
and I got closer, but I picked one. So
And
you
then I
skipped.
got two, and I was like, yes, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, that sh show is so much fun. Okay, so let's talk about you now. What was your first exposure to musical theater?
Okay, my first time seeing a show, I saw my sister in The Wizard of Oz. I was in preschool. I was probably like 3 years old. I really
Mm,
don't remember it at
yeah.
all. But I do remember my sister complaining because the Dorothy had her script on stage and my sister
Uh,
was memorized and she was
uh-oh.
pissed about it.
Who was your
Yeah,
sister?
drama. My sister was Glinda.
Oh.
Yes,
And then you
queen.
just did it. That must have been really full circle.
It was very full circle. I will say, not start anything. Wizard of Oz is not one of my favorite musicals.
It's not.
No, I like it a lot more as a movie. I think it does
hmm
not need to be a stage musical, and I think it is boring to watch.
The
And I was
show?
in it, like, yeah, I mean, I was in it. It was a little boring to do, but I was like, this is boring to watch. I mean, if I'm bored doing it, no way people are not bored watching it. You
Wait, so
know?
how does the Wizard of Oz work? Because like I only really know like The Wiz heavily. I've never seen The Wizard of Oz. I only know like the songs. I've never sat down and watched it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the movie or no?
No, I haven't seen the movie or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
So
So
like, are you a person before and then you're the Tin Man?
yeah, so basically, I'm trying to remember the movie, but basically, it like we're in Kansas, obviously, and then there's like the farm hands, and then like the aunt and uncle who like run the farm, and then Dorothy's their niece. I don't know what happened to her parents. That's not really explained. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Anyway, there's
and
a
so
tornado.
then,
Well, she goes to Professor Marvel, who's just like this nut job in town, and she's gonna run away because the like mean neighbor is trying to take her dog, so she's gonna run away.
oh, and that's the Wicked Witch of
Yes, and so then
that's
she,
Elphaba.
yes, um, and then she goes to like Professor Marvel, who like really isn't plot relevant, but he's there. And then there's a tornado, so she goes back home, and she like hits her
Okay,
head and like goes
okay,
to sleep. And then when she wakes up, it's like she's in Oz,
okay.
and her
I
house
got this.
landed
And
on.
then we know the rest. Yeah.
Yes, and the
So then,
rest is history. Let's just
and the rest is history.
say.
So, who is your biggest musical theater influence?
Ooh, okay. I feel like okay, it might be a little basic
hmm
now, but Mike Feist, and
Really?
I feel like that might be maybe it's not basic, maybe it's unconventional pick, but he like I've seen a lot of interviews with him because I've loved him. I watched him in Newsies, and
Yeah.
I had a whole Newsies phase, and I watched all of the little behind the scenes shit. Oh, can I curse?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, good.
Go
Okay,
ahead, go
good.
ahead.
But I watched like all the behind the scenes stuff,
hmm
and there was an interview he did in Dear Evan Hansen where he talked about how he's not a strong singer and how he's a much like he's like an actor dancer. And I was
hmm
like, King, yes, represent. And then I heard him sing, and I went, okay, so you're a filthy liar, but it's okay.
So
Um,
that's literally you.
literally me. And
Because you're like a phenomenal singer, even though you say you're not. But I'm like, what? Like,
see,
how?
to each their own. I'm not bad. It's just like I'm not a strong singer,
Yeah,
and I think that
no,
that is
me
something that
too.
is very. it's something that I think is a lot harder to deal with in theater than anyone cares about, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like I talk to so many people and they talk about how hard it is in general, because theater in general is hard.
Hmm.
It's a hard industry, but it's so much worse. It is 10 times worse when singing is not your strongest
Yeah.
thing.
So like what do
Because
you do
yeah,
for that?
you can make it in this industry with just singing
Yeah.
purely. Like, I mean, you
Hmm.
have to have some acting, but you don't have to dance, like legit.
Hmm.
Love Jeremy Jordan. Like, you don't have to dance at all. You'd be a terrible dancer. You only have to act a little bit. But if you can like belt that shit out, like they don't care. They'll cast you.
Yeah.
And that sucks. But that I
Hmm.
mean you just have to work harder and it's
Yeah.
fine. But that's why I appreciated him saying that in that interview because it's like, oh, he's made it multiple Broadway shows.
Hmm.
He's made it in film, which is something I really hope I get to do. And
Yeah.
all of this, and he doesn't consider himself a strong singer. I'm like that. It's
Hmm.
inspiring to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably
So
my
like
biggest.
what do you do to like be a stronger singer? Like what work and effort do you put in?
That is the most like singing is the thing I have the most like technical training on, which is insane because it's my
Hmm.
like
Yeah, me too.
weakest area. But
Hmm.
that's I have the most like like coaching and like all
Hmm.
of that on top of like if I'm in a show, I'm so bad at harmonies. I'm so bad at like
Oh, yeah.
placement and vowels and whatever. I go
Hmm.
home every single time, no matter what show I'm in. I could be like in two songs in the whole show. It doesn't matter. Like I'll go home and I just listen to it on repeat and I look at my harmonies and do all that. It's like it's kind of basic things in theory.
Yeah.
It's just the amount of times I have to replay a harmony compared to somebody who's
Mm.
like musically inclined. I'm so jealous right now because
Yeah. See, that was me up until SpongeBob. That was like the first show I actually learned how to do harmonies. And
yeah.
even that show, I was just singing whatever. But then after that show, I was so much better at keeping my own harmony. And so do you listen to like the recording, like after you're in a show? Like, do you listen to like the cast album or no?
It depends on if I have like rehearsal tracks or not.
Okay. I do not listen to the album because I every time I just get so nitpicky. I'm like, I don't want to hear what the original did because then I'm going to try to do
Yep.
it like that.
Right.
And then a lot of the times the album is different than the show, like
Yeah.
SpongeBob, which was awful because there was like nothing to rehearse on except for like what you did in rehearsal. Like there was
Yeah.
no tracks. The album was totally different, and it took me until like 2 weeks. I was like, "Wait, this is different." And then I
Yeah.
would
And the
go into
timing is entirely different.
the timing's different, and I would go into rehearsal singing it like the album. Like, wait, what am I doing? Like these are not the words. And speaking of SpongeBob, so how did you find out about SpongeBob?
So the entire reason I did SpongeBob was because of Gianna Riggi. So we can all thank her.
Ah, Queen,
Um,
Queen, love her.
yes. We were in a dinner theater at our school,
Hmm.
and we were talking about like what shows we want to do next, and I was like thinking about all the things like I wanted to do, and SpongeBob was not on my radar. I was one of those kids I was not allowed to watch SpongeBob. My
Oh,
parents thought
okay.
it like rotted your brain and made you stupid, so I was like didn't know anything about it, and I was like honestly, what the only thing that sounds worse than like SpongeBob like the TV show is a musical of it. And she was like, "Trust, listen to it. It'll be fun. Like just do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." I
Yeah.
listened to it. I was like, "Okay, like it's kind
You're
of
like,
good." And then
okay.
I auditioned, and obviously it was one of the best show experiences of my life. But no, I
Hmm.
was not there. I was legit only there because I was like, I mean, Gianna's doing it. Like, at
Yeah.
least it'll be like, you know, a fun, like, entertaining thing to do. But I didn't think it was gonna
Yeah.
be anything special, and then it actually was. So,
So, what did you sing for SpongeBob?
I sang "All for the Best" from Godspell.
Oh, I never heard of that.
It's a really quick song.
Hmm.
It like shows that you know diction and like melody, but you don't have to like belt it out or
Oh,
anything, you
okay, yeah.
know? You show
Hmm.
just enough to for them to be like, "Oh, like you can hold a tune, but you don't have
Yeah.
to like crack on a like high A or anything, you know?"
Yeah. My SpongeBob audition was so bad.
What song did you sing?
I sang, I sang, it's a cut song from 13. It's called Here I Come. And then I was like, okay, I got it with the karaoke track. And then I gave And I got the sheet music off some sketchy website. I was like, I think this is it. I don't know how to read music, so I was like, I think this is right.
Yeah,
So then I give it to Tristan, who did audition. Yeah, Tristan did the
yeah,
audition, and then he was like, "Oh, okay." And then it took him like a good 2 minutes to like figure out how to play it. And then as I'm doing it, the piano was so loud. I'm just like, "What is going on?" And it's all about confidence. And at the time, I didn't have that much confidence in like
yeah.
auditioning. Now I actually love to audition because I think it's like, I don't know, kind of fun. But yeah, so that's what I sang. So what were callbacks like for you? Like what did you do for your callbacks?
I'm almost positive we did the exact same thing because I was listening to your last episode,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned kind of SpongeBob in the callback process, and
Yeah.
you are so. I felt like there were a million callbacks
Yeah.
for a million different
A
things, and it
million
was
different
just kind of
things.
like that's definitely one of the longest processes I've ever
Mhm.
been through for like getting a cast list.
Yeah.
But I
And I
was really worried because I got cut after the first callback. I
Mhm.
think I didn't like go to the second one that had like specific people called back for
Oh yeah,
specific.
me too. Yeah, me
So I
too.
was like, "Oh, I'm not in the show. Like, I'm cut from the show." And I just kind of accepted
Yeah.
that. And then they're like, "Security guard." I was like, "Yes."
No, I literally like after the audition, I was like, yeah, I didn't book this. It was good to show my face. They know me now.
Yeah.
I was okay with that. And then I got a call back, like, okay, not booking this call back. And with all the rounds, they were like, "Oh, anyone who does this, anyone does it." I'm like, "No, I don't do this. No, I don't do that. No, I don't do this." Like, I literally thought like I can't do anything in this show because I didn't know the show that well. And honestly, looking back, there's so much for like the singers, the tap, like that show had
Yeah.
so much, and I felt like it was perfectly cast. Like that was such a great cast
Yes.
of people.
Dude, that was probably the biggest cast I've ever been in. Because I
Hmm.
think about it, I was like, everyone and their mother was in that show.
Everyone, and their mother auditioned for that show.
Yes. Everyone and their
There
mother
was
got
like,
casted, and then half the people dropped. And it
oh
was
yeah.
still like everyone and some of their mothers. Like,
You know what's funny is, so when I realized, I was like, oh, this is serious. It was one moment. It was like the first day of rehearsal, and like a lot of people dropped. And then seeing Bob Cooper go to Morgan McCall and was like, "Give me the folder," and it was like a folder of like all these people's headshots that didn't get cast, and he just like randomly, he's like, just pulling people out,
I don't
and
remember.
then I was like, wow, that is how easily someone is replaceable.
Yeah.
They quit.
Especially like a place like BYT, you know?
Yeah, and they're like, okay, can you call these people? And I'm just like over here looking. It's my first day. I'm like, wow. And I was so scared to mess up on everything because I was like, oh my God, like they're gonna replace me. They're gonna replace me.
Hmm.
Wait till they find out I can't sing. They're gonna replace me. And then
Wait till
I
they
don't,
find out they emailed the wrong guy. Like,
yeah. And so then they had me singing the baritone part, even though I really sang the tenor part.
hmm,
But like at the time, I thought that was, I don't know what I thought. I was just singing whoever was next to me. But
that's fair.
so what
I
was your
sang whatever Chase Daniel Harris sang, and I stand by that.
That's funny. So what was your favorite memory from SpongeBob?
Oh, dude, SpongeBob was so fun. I'm not going to pick one, and you can't make me, but I will say any memory that took place in that dressing room was
Oh,
top tier.
oh, that was
Dude,
so much fun.
there was there a war going on outside my house right now. That dressing room was the best. It will never be topped. The
Yes.
best
Oh
dressing
my
room
God.
I've ever been a part of. Everyone in there I loved. All like
Hmm.
it was so fun.
That was so much fun. And so like for anyone, actually no one knows this. So we had like LED lights that were like constantly like flashing like this, like bang, bang, bang the whole time. And then we had Grady playing the clarinet half
Yeah.
the time. And then what else did we have? We had
We
the
had
Bob
this
Duncan.
we had this 60-inch, 60 by 30-inch Noah Paz tapestry
Oh
of
yeah.
him with the red circle pointing, and it said the Herberger Hat Man, which was in my room for a while because I bought it and then I gave it to Noah during Willy Wonka as a
Hmm.
gift. And then we had the other one that's in my room right now, and it's Bob Duncan from Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah,
And
that's
it says
funny.
the Babe Cave, and he has like Pink
Hmm.
Whitney, and what else? He has like I don't know. It's
And then we
sparkly.
had like there was just so much, and then there was like a LED lights. There was pineapples everywhere. We had like
Okay, we had the
Hawaiians.
Lays. Oh, I have the disco ball that Gabe put up.
Oh yeah, the ball, and then what else is in there?
We had
Honestly,
like a few
so much.
SpongeBob Funko Pops and Pez
Yeah,
dispensers.
yeah, we had so much in there. And we oh the SpongeBob shrine we had on the wall.
Yeah.
So like we had like multiple SpongeBob memes just like plastered all over the wall. That room has never looked better. And now I have high expectations every time I go to a dressing room, and
Yeah.
it just will never top.
No, it never hits the same. And then everyone was trying to be like, "Oh no, our dressing room is the best. Our dressing room is the best." Like we all know.
It
Like
was a
we all know.
competition.
Let's.
It low-key
There
was a
was no shot.
competition.
Yeah.
And Autumn Stanley had like the couch. That was pretty cool, I will say.
Yeah. They had the couch and the LEDs, but they did not have nearly enough pictures of SpongeBob on the
Yeah,
wall.
they did not.
It was no
Uh,
babe cave. Okay.
And one of my favorite performances of yours was Brother Jeremiah in Something Rotten. Oh my God. I was like freaking out the whole time. So like what was your audition process for that?
Ooh, okay, so I knew I wanted to do that show the second I saw it. So I saw it at MCC, and I didn't know anything about it going into it. And then I came out of that show. I thought it was the funniest show I'd ever seen. It was one of my favorites. I still think that. It's definitely like my favorite show I've ever been a part of. It is so funny. I truly believe that it like one of the few musicals that made me laugh out loud. But so I knew I wanted to audition, and since Grace Payne was doing it, I was like, yes. The callbacks, the audition was like pretty basic.
Yeah,
But
initial.
callbacks was a little weird. Um, we all had callbacks, and no one was called back for like specific roles, but like our Shakespeare, Evan, like he ended up being Shakespeare. He was the only one who read for Shakespeare. Read one
Mm-hmm.
time
Mm-hmm.
and then was casted. I was like, and we were all better for it. Like that was incredible.
Yeah.
But like we all knew in the room,
Yeah.
kind of if you just kept reading for the same person,
Yeah.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that same night, I think we got the cast list, but they didn't have like some of the like name characters that weren't like leads. So like Nostradamus, Brother Jeremiah, the Minstrel,
Oh.
Shylock. I don't
Yeah.
remember his name, but
Mm-hmm.
like those. So they then had an extra callback for just ensembles. So like none of the leads came,
Yeah.
and they casted those, and that's when I got the email that I'd be Brother Jeremiah. But before, I thought I was just
Yeah.
gonna be ensemble, so I was really
Mm-hmm.
excited. I did end up something rotten was crazy, but that was the audition
Yeah.
process.
Mm-hmm. So can you explain who Brother Jeremiah is within Something Rotten? Because oh, he's so funny.
Yes. Okay. He's like kind of like the C plot involved in the
Mm-hmm.
C plot. Um, basically, the main guy has a brother who has a crush on this girl who's a Puritan, and they're like star-crossed lovers because his brother doesn't want him to date her, and her
Mm-hmm.
dad doesn't want her to date him, and it's a whole thing. But I play the dad. I'm a Puritan preacher, and I just spew religion at everyone. And I don't like musical theater. I don't like singing and dancing because it's
Yes.
a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like gay people for sure.
Oh no.
Um, but what's funny about Brother Jeremiah is everything he says is an innuendo.
Mm-hmm.
So while he thinks he's like preaching about being holy and being like, very good and modest, what he's
Yeah.
actually saying, it's like not that at all. And it's very dirty and also very zesty. He was
Oh my God. It was
very pretty, but
so funny. I think honestly my favorite number was We See the Light. Like that was so did you guys do that to Zonies?
I know we did a musical.
Oh bro, you guys should have did We See the Light.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I don't know if you even heard me screaming. I was screaming the whole time. I was like, what am I watching? Because like it was like this like kind of slower and then other Puritans come on and then they rip off the outfits and they're in their sparkly suits and then you come
Yeah.
on. And so my next question is when hold on
I'm so scared.
because it's my favorite part of the show. So when in the rehearsal process did the jump split come into play? Like how did that come about?
Right, right. So Paul was our choreographer. I love Paul.
Yes. Wait, who? Paul?
Paul Yont.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was gonna say Paul Peterson. I was like, oh my God, love him. I don't know who Paul
I do
Yance
not know
is.
who. I don't know that Paul. So, um, Paul on Paul crime. No, I love Paul. He at the same time that I was doing something wrong, I was in my school show, Wizard of Oz, and he was choreographing both of them. So
Hmm.
we had a little bit of a bond from both of those.
Yeah.
So he also, I don't know what he saw in me, but he was like, "No, you can dance. I'm gonna put you in every single dance number."
Yes. Of
And
course.
obviously, and so then he was like, just kind of like do something at the end. I think at that point he knew I could do like gymnastics.
Mm.
So that's where, like, because I did like the really shitty back handspring, but I don't actually remember where the like jump split came into play.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I just like did it, and he was like, "Yes, like do
How
that."
did I don't even know how to describe it. So it's like you it's gonna sound so crazy, but you're like voguing on the floor. So, walk
Yes,
us through. So the end of the
right.
number, how do we get to that point?
Well, okay, so I vogue at like the middle of the number, but at
Mm-hmm.
the end we have like just some like regular choreo, and then I think like everyone kind of paired up, but
Yeah.
all Paul like knew he wanted was like he wanted me to end in the middle and like do
Mm-hmm.
like something. So I would
Yeah.
just kind of like improv. I probably added more voguing, but I had to fill the time, and then also I think it was like a few people were in front, so I had to make sure they cleared
Yeah.
before. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't know. Like I wish I had like a profound thought process, but I just started like doing shit and I saw what stuck. And I guess backhand spring to a jump split just worked.
Yeah, just just the usual, the
Just like
normal.
an average Tuesday.
I think that honestly, I think you stole the show at that moment because I like yelled so loudly. I was like, "What is he doing?" And like in the like, I was like, "That was so impressive." And did you get a lot of claps for that every night? Was that like the moment like everyone went crazy for?
I did. And every single time I would talk to anyone after the show, they'd be like, dude, I blinked and you were like in a split. I was like, yeah. And it's also, I think it's funny because I can't do the splits. It was a jazz split. It's just because of the
Hmm.
angle. It looks like I just like hit that.
I thought
And
I thought you just hit that too. I was like, "Hey, okay."
I really didn't, but it was like awesome. I think the way it played with like the sound and the lights, it's like very a distracting thing. And then you
Mhm.
look and all of a sudden it's like jump to a split. It looks a lot more impressive than it actually is in like
Yeah. No, no,
practice,
it's
you know?
so it's I can't even do half of that. I could barely do a Vogue, so it's super impressive to me. So what was
Thank
the most rewarding and challenging part of doing that show?
that was probably the most like physically taxing show I've done. Every single number is a dance number, and
Yeah.
Paul wanted me in all of them. I had
Hmm.
6 different costumes. I played 6 different characters,
Oh yeah.
and in total, I think I had over 12 costume changes.
The leather pants.
Yeah, dude, I had to keep the leather pants on under my brother Jeremiah pants because I didn't have time in between a musical and Bard Boys
Uh-huh.
to switch it. But the main thing I think, so that was probably the most challenging thing was like costumes and like learning the dance.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a bad dancer, but it was a lot of choreo.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say the most rewarding thing in that same like vein is tap. I'm still
Hmm.
not a tap dancer, but now I know like a lot more than I did before.
Yeah.
Like people ask me after they're like, "I didn't know you could tap," and I'm like, "I can't." Like I was lying to you that whole time. I've been faking it, but
Yes.
I told Paul too when he was like, he put me in the tap troupe, and I was like, "Hey, like I've never tapped before. I don't have tap shoes. I don't like I
Hmm.
can't do this." He's like, "You can learn," and so I did. In 2 months, I learned how to tap, and everyone was like, "I didn't know you could tap." I was like, "I really can't." Like, but now I then did it for Wizard of Oz, um,
Hmm.
and I just like practice every now and then. I'm not like a tap dancer or anything, but
Yeah.
I had the basics. I could make into a production of SpongeBob. Like, don't
Oh
sweat.
yeah. Yeah.
So I
So
think that's
is
probably the most rewarding thing.
yeah. So is it kind of like the vibe of shows that you like, where it's like that comedic, funny, poppy? Is that all right? For lack of better words, like
Sure.
pop-esque, that your style?
I mean, it really depends. That
Hmm.
is what I'm used to, and
Yeah.
that's
Commercial
shows
theater,
I
yeah.
know I'll get like casted in.
Yeah.
You know, I
Hmm.
haven't really done anything dramatic.
Yeah.
I've never done a straight play. I've done like dinner theater doesn't count in my
Mm-hmm.
eyes. It's a lot of improv and there are breaks for eating. It's like I don't know, it's weird. But I've never done just a
Yeah.
straight play. I've never done like a pure like drama,
Mm-hmm.
and I would love to. I'm just like scared to try that because I'm
Yeah.
so good at sticking in my little bubble of just like
Yeah.
comedic, campy,
Yeah.
characters and like shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like that, and it's a big. I think. I mean, my personality in general, I think, is
Yeah.
pretty campy and happy and fun. I'd
Yeah,
hope.
that's
I don't
that's
know,
me as
but
well. But do you find that like for me personally, like I like to be in those shows, but like my favorite thing to watch is like those dramatic, artsy fartsy shows. I live for like that kind of stuff. Is that you too?
yes, I would say. I mean, I have a good mix because like
Mm-hmm.
my favorite musicals, it's like whiplash. Same thing with like my favorite movies because
Wait,
it's
what
just
is your favorite musicals?
my favorite musicals. So Something Ryan is up there for sure. I would say my favorite is falsettos. Or no, okay, wait.
Oh,
I
okay.
switch
Okay.
falsettos and Sweeney Todd for favorite.
Okay, okay.
I love Sweeney Todd so much, and I love falsettos so much. But then I love Something Ryan, heavy, and I
I
love Avenue Q
Oh,
so much,
oh, okay.
dude. I want to
Okay.
be in the show so bad.
Avenue Q. I
Yeah,
love falsettos. Stephen J. Block.
falsettos is so good.
Can we do
Falsettos
that?
is so good.
I
Okay,
love I
let's
love
do
it.
falsettos right now.
All right, let's go. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is the dreaded college audition process. Yeah, because you went to before we talk about where you went, what is
Mhm.
in your audition book? And then secondly, what did you sing for your college auditions?
Ooh, okay, so I actually had to go through my book for college auditions because I picked two songs. I used MTCA, which is like a program designed for letting music, like for like helping musical theater students get into college, and it's it's been very helpful. They assign you like a team, and one of them is a song coach. I love him so much, but he
Mm-hmm.
gave me like two songs to like work on specifically for college audition like stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them I used throughout all of my auditions, like without fail. If they needed one song, that was my go-to. If they, no matter what, and that was "You've Got That Thing" from 50 Million Frenchmen.
Oh,
Um,
different. I never heard of that.
yeah, it's an up-tempo golden age song, um, which is
Mm-hmm.
like pretty my vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good up tempo because then like you don't, like it's
Yeah.
easier. I don't know. But
Yeah.
the other one that I worked on for like months on end, I'm talking by the time like Unifieds came around, I was working on it for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Lost in the Waves from Out of Our Heads.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It is very high.
Oh.
And I got sick the like week before, not the week, but like the last few days. And I was like getting on a plane and
Mm-hmm.
it just made it worse. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, so I cannot sing this. I sang it for one audition and
Mm-hmm.
I cracked so hard. Have you seen that one song where it's like the Tom's Diner cover
Tom's Diner cover.
where he's like, and I filled it only halfway. Have you heard that? Am I insane?
I
I'll
think
play
it
it.
might be. I don't, wait. Okay, play, play.
I'll play it. I'll play it. I need to pull it up.
I'm intrigued. You have very dynamic audition song choices. I kind of mine are very basic.
Well, okay, but don't worry. Since I was sick, I did have to change it, and I changed it to Sondheim. So
What did you change it to?
I sang for some of them. I sang "Not While I'm Around," and then even that was
Oh.
too shy. So then I changed it to an outsider song. But I need to. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wait, wait.
Oh, that, yeah.
And like that's what I sounded like, you know. But it
Hmm.
was not a song where that's where you're supposed to sound like. So then I changed it to an outsider song where I was like, okay, I can
Yeah.
sound a little more like that.
Yeah.
It really didn't work. I like low key, in all honesty, you do what
Yeah.
you can. But
Mhm.
I also used Time from Tuck Everlasting,
Oh, I
which
I
I
love Tech Everlasting.
love that song so much. I did it for NAFT this year.
Yeah.
Um, but I love that song, so I kept that as like a backup as
Hmm.
well, along with "She Loves Me" because that's just been in
Oh,
my book since for like 2 years.
that was a
Um,
great show.
Shout out.
So, can you explain to everyone what Chicago Unifieds are?
Yes. So basically, for musical theater, like for the musical theater process, getting into college, you have to submit pre-screens, and if
Hmm.
you pass the pre-screens, you can schedule an in-person audition or an online. A lot of people recommend in-person, but it's really hard to make it to each of these campuses. It's hard, it's expensive, and there's not enough time. So there's this thing called Unifieds. They have them in New York and then Chicago and then LA, and it's where all of these colleges get together at a hotel, basically, and you can just get all of your in-person auditions like done back to back in the span of like a week. That's basically what Unified
Hmm.
is.
So, what was it like attending that? Like, was it
um,
nerve-wracking?
the worst thing ever. No, I'm kidding. It was just a lot. Um, in total, at Unified, I did 12 walk-in auditions, which is where
Hmm.
I don't pre-screen or anything. I just signed my name up for like the college, and if they like you, they say, "Hey, like fill out an application. Like we want to see it, whatever." Um, but so I did 12 of those, and I had like 6 scheduled auditions, like or like appointments or whatever. Um, but in total, I've auditioned for over 20 something schools at Unifieds alone, and I also went to Chicago and then LA. So
Hmm.
I flew to Chicago, and then I flew from Chicago to LA, and then I drove home from LA back to Arizona.
Wow.
And I missed a week of school.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm spending all this money, all this time to like maybe get into 2 of those programs. So
Hmm.
it's a little hard mentally. It's also
Yeah.
very hard physically. Especially if you're like from Arizona and changing to Chicago weather and
Yeah.
it's freezing and it's windy and it's like it's dry and it's
Hmm.
just like never your best work.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm making any sense. And I'm not
No,
saying
I
like
get
it's
it.
really not that bad. And I think a lot of people
Hmm.
have a lot of fun
Yeah.
at Unifieds. I'm a very anxious person.
Yeah.
Um, like so in social situations, just in
Hmm.
general, especially when it comes to like singing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it was a lot harder. I think I also did a lot of acting auditions, and that was a little more fun for me.
Hmm.
Because it's really just a chance to work your material.
Yeah.
Um, which if I was more confident singing, I think that it's also a good way to workshop those types of things.
Yeah.
Um, the scariest parts is like the appointments for schools you really want to get into.
Hmm.
And it also sucks because you have one bad day, like a bad vocal day or a bad like whatever.
Yeah.
That's 6 auditions that you just bombed,
Yeah.
you know. And they get 30 seconds ish. Like I was told by like MPCA like people by 30 seconds into your audition, they know if they want you or not.
Yeah.
You still have to go to the 2 hour dance call. You still have to go sing all your songs. You have to do all your monologues, but they
Yeah.
know already. And it just kind of sucks because then it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of their time. But there is always that chance that they want you. And then it's like, of
Yeah.
course you want them to see more. Like it's
Hmm.
just such a hard battle. And when people ask like, oh, how do the schools pick? Like it has to be hard for them too. Cause we had one of the people who were like, what are they called? Like the people there
Head
who are,
honcho.
hello? Yes. But the people there who were like, you know, judging
Yeah.
whether or not you're going to get in,
Hmm.
and she was like, "We just have to kind of guess because
Yeah.
you get thousands of the same like people." It's like I
Hmm.
remember the first day of Chicago Unifieds, I was waiting for one of my auditions, and I heard this girl hit one of the highest notes I think I've ever heard ever. And it was beautiful, great vibrato. I was like, damn, okay. And
Hmm.
then as I was sitting there, I hear this girl. this different girl, different room, sing the
Hmm.
exact same song, hit the exact same note, and it sounded just as good. And I was like,
Yeah.
how do you decide? Like,
Hmm.
I would go crazy. That's like that job arguably worse than like having to go audition for these people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and because of how hard it is, did you feel like you had some sort of sense of community with the people who are also auditioning next to you?
um yes and no.
Hmm.
Um I think theater is a very mixed group of people, and you
Yes.
have people who have been fed all their lives that they're better than everyone and that they
Hmm.
deserve everything, and those
Hmm.
people look down on the other people in the audition room,
Yeah.
and that can be hard to feel. It's hard to feel comfortable in a space with people like that.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of people who are struggling the same way you are, or even if they're not struggling, they're still supportive. And I think finding
Hmm.
those people is great. However, for me, I really didn't until the last day of Chicago Unified when I knew I didn't have any auditions the next day. I didn't talk to
Yeah.
anyone. The only
Hmm.
socialization I had was with my mom, which for me I was fine with, but I don't know how other people feel about their mothers. But uh I kept to myself because I was like, I'm very much impressionable and I'm very much like, I really care what other people think. And
Yeah.
you cannot do that at in places like
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
because everyone there is talented. That's another thing.
Yeah.
It's not community theater. It's not, Phoenix, Arizona. It's not
Yeah.
like it's people from all over the country in one place and it's top talent.
Hmm.
And it's really hard to not compare yourself to them.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the second I started doing that, I was like, I just got to keep myself. So I had my AirPods in basically the whole time, and I
Hmm.
was just running my own stuff. I was talking to my mom about anything else, and that helped me a lot. But I think for a lot of people, it's like, oh, let me talk to somebody else so that I don't get in my own head about it.
Yeah.
So I think it really just depends on who you are, in a very similar way of if you'll enjoy it or not. Because some people had so much fun at
Hmm.
Unified because they had
Yeah.
such a good way of thinking about it. It's just workshopping. Now I get in my head so quick, and I have so much, you know,
Hmm.
stress around it that it was a little harder for me to enjoy. But
Yeah. So you
yeah,
weren't
it's
singing
rough.
Season of Love in the lobby? Because I saw
I
that
was
that was
there.
you were there. You were in
I
the
was
room where
there.
it
I don't know all the
happens.
words
You know,
yet.
oh,
So yeah,
so you
I'm
came in on the
fake.
chorus.
Yeah,
Okay.
but check the mezzanine. I was up there.
Was
So
that cool? I always thought that's so cool. I was like, wow. How did that start?
I think some girl just put up a bunch of signs that was like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing this. You start when the lady in the red jumpsuit starts."
Okay.
And then everyone just showed up, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" It was really cool to experience,
Hmm.
and that I think did give a great sense of community. But
Yeah.
then you have, I, I mean, I'm an eavesdropper, and you eavesdrop on these people's conversations, like just judging it or loving it, or it's like two sides of everything, and
Yeah.
there's no real way of winning.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's a little,
It's a lot.
it's a lot, yeah.
And on a lighter note, you're playing Seymour in Little Shop of
Yes.
Horrors. That's in 2 weeks?
Oh, yes, it is.
Are you so how is are you so excited? One.
I am.
You
Seymour has been a dream role of mine for a very
Mhm.
long time, but that is also why I think I'm really, really scared because I
Yeah.
do not want to do him dirty,
Yeah.
and I really want to do it well, and I'm scared that it will not come out correctly. Like I won't
Mhm.
do it correctly, but I have 2 weeks. I think it'll be good. I hope.
Yeah. How's the process been preparing for the show?
It's been a little rough. There's
Okay.
been a lot of like cast changes, rehearsal changes, things like that, and it just like
Yeah.
kind of makes you kind of always feel like you're falling behind.
Yeah.
Um,
And for people, I just feel like no one ever realizes this, but us in community theater, us in high school shows, we're still students. Like we're
yes,
still going to school. And then some of us still have jobs and stuff, clubs and things we
yeah,
have to do. So it's like it's also so hard, especially when you're like leading a show.
Well, it's
So
like
I,
it's crazy. Friday, I
hmm
go to school. Now I'm also lucky I'm a senior, so I leave early. But
yeah,
I'm going to school, and then I have rehearsal from 2 to 6, no, 2 to 5, and then I have work from 5 to 9, and then I'm driving to California to tour colleges,
yeah,
and I come back, and then I have school, and then rehearsal, and then work. It's like it's really rough, and I think
yeah.
community theater, I think, has a harder time of recognizing the fact that these people are also students.
Oh, for sure.
Because like when it's at your school,
Hmm
obviously they're also teachers, like your directors and things, so they got to know.
Yeah.
But community theater sometimes it's like, hey, everyone here has school till whatever. They'll be like, oh, we have
hmm
rehearsing 4 till whatever, and some of my
Yeah.
friends don't get out of school till 4, and it's like,
hmm I'm
dude,
numb, honestly, to long
yeah,
rehearsals. Like people in my school, they're like, "Oh my God, rehearsal ends at 8 o'clock." I'm like, "Oh my God, you're so
yeah,
lucky." Like a rehearsal ends at 10 o'clock, and then on midnight for tech week. So I'm just
yeah.
like, I'm kind of numb to it all, but it
You do
definitely
one
is.
DYT show, you get numb to it. Like,
It's hard. It is very hard. So, how has rehearsal shaped your understanding of Seymour? Have you discovered anything that you didn't know before?
ooh, so I will say one reason I wanted to be Seymour so bad since the first time I watched this show was
Mm-hmm.
because I got an understanding of his character almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it felt very personal to me. I don't really know why. Like, it's not like he's,
Relatable.
super like layered or anything, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is.
Yeah. hmm
As much as it's a comedy, it's about killing people whenever. Can I spoil things for Little Shop? Guys, don't listen anymore.
Is
It's
I think it's not
been, I
it's been
mean,
out.
the
It's not
movie
like
came out in the 80s. Let's be real, guys.
well, to be fair, I seen bootlegs, but I've never seen Act Two, so I feel like
No.
people know it enough.
Yeah, well, it's about like killing people, but it's still a very campy, like comedic thing.
Yeah.
But one thing I like noticed about Seymour beyond because he's a very like nervous and timid person, but
hmm
he is sassy. And
Oh,
I
he
didn't realize
is.
that until I like read the script. I was like, oh, specifically with like obviously he has a crush on Audrey and
hmm
she has a boyfriend, and but he is so sassy to the boyfriend. I'm always like, oh, I never really realized that. So I've kind of been playing into that just a little bit more
Yeah.
than I've seen, which
They need the sassy King Marco Johnson. So
yes, like bring back Sassy Seymour.
Sassy Seymour. Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's the episode of this. That's the title,
Yes.
Sassy Seymour. So, are you doing a voice or no?
I'm trying, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
like I don't want it to get obnoxious. I feel like if it's
Yeah.
too much of like a voice, it's gonna get a
hmm
little annoying, especially because I talk so much in the show. I'm like, I don't want I'm not gonna force people to listen to that, but um slightly. I got my little New York accent.
New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
So, what has been the most challenging scene or song so far and why?
Ooh. I feel like this singing's definitely been a little harder is because he does it so much in this show. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever had to sing this much in a show that I've been in. For me, what's been the hardest is Suddenly Seymour, and that is
Yeah.
because of the harmonies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good with harmonies now. Like I've gotten a lot better. If I have one other person on my harmony, I have it down. It's just like that
Yeah.
song is like just me, and I have to do my own thing, and I have to do it correctly. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
like mess it all up. But I would also say there are so many songs. Call back in the morning and like close renovation, and I'm like, you're
hmm
just giving us tongue twisters for no reason.
Yeah.
Like one of the lines, I don't remember which one it's in right now, but it's like, uh, "We'll make a ship-shaped showplace of a little shop, and then."
Oh, okay.
That's not like that's not a sentence. I don't know. It's just like things like that, just throughout the
Yeah.
whole thing. Um, but yeah, it's been pretty
Yeah.
relatively
Yeah, I have tried
usually. Yeah.
so because my voice teacher always gives me Seymour songs, and I'm always like, why do you keep giving me this? I cannot, I just can't sing it. I can't. I can't. I either can do
It's
it like, it's a weird heart. It's weird. I don't like it.
Yes. It lives in a weird place in my voice, I think. For most of his songs, it's like yes, like I feel like what's I'm kind of grateful for is his like solo songs are
Yeah.
very much in my range. It's just
Mm-hmm.
then like, oh, and in this harmony you sing higher than Audrey. And I'm like, I can't. So don't know what you
Yeah.
want me to do there. So many times they've been like, we're swapping that. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not about to
Mm-hmm.
oh it's it's a lot of head voice. It's a lot of
A lot of head.
falsetto, but it's okay.
Oh my God. So one little thing before you go, I want to play a game. And
Oh,
I
I'm so
was really
excited.
excited about this.
I can't wait.
Because I was looking at your resume, I was like, wait, why do you have a lot? There was like a lot on it. I was like, oh my God, this is super impressive. Okay, so we're gonna play a game of F, Marry, Kill.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited, guys.
Okay, so the first one is the Tin Man, Seymour,
Okay.
our brother Jeremiah.
Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. I feel like I gotta marry Seymour. Okay.
Yeah.
He
Oh yeah,
cleans.
cleans.
He's sweet.
He'll kill
Um,
for you.
yeah, he'll kill for me. He'll like provide us the money. Well, he became
Yeah.
famous and rich. I think we'd make great husbands. I would have to F the Tin Man. I don't know what he has going on down there because he made a tin,
Yes.
but I
Hey.
trust it. As long as it's not like
Well,
won't give me like lead poisoning, I'm good. And then I um like I don't know I don't know how graphic I want to get. I don't know if he has any
okay.
holes. um but I'd have to kill Brother Jeremiah because he's homophobic
He
and
probably wouldn't want to marry you anyways, so.
no, he would hate that and he definitely doesn't want to. Yeah.
Okay. Also, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm so glad.
George
Oh yes.
George from She Loves Me,
Okay.
Percy and Percy Jackson are the security guard from SpongeBob.
Okay, I have to kill Percy. He's a child.
Okay,
I do
true,
not.
true,
I do not
true.
want to marry or f him. Okay.
Hmm.
I think I gotta marry George.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's just like he's a charismatic guy. He's sweet when he's not lying about his identity. Like he has a good job.
Hmm.
I trust it. And then our security guard's pretty sexy. So that's all
Yeah.
I gotta say about that.
And that jumpsuit. So
Oh, the jumpsuit body is T.
the body is T. Okay. Paul from The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals,
Okay.
Cinderella's father from Into the Woods,
Okay.
are I don't know if I'm saying this right because I'm not a news. Well, don't not a Newsies fan. Davy in Newsies.
You did say it correctly.
Okay.
Okay. Davy, Paul, and Cinderella's dad. Hmm. I gotta marry Davy.
Yeah.
I like him. He's chill.
Chill.
Honestly, I love Paul. He's a little freaky. I'm gonna have to kill him. And
Yeah, and
then
he
I
also
think
doesn't like musicals. I don't think that
yeah,
would
I think
work
I think
out.
I'm just gonna I'll F the drunk dad, and I'm okay with that.
That was some great choices. That was very great.
Thank you. I'm so glad I got to do this.
Okay, for our last thing, very last thing.
Mhm.
If you could play any role, regardless of gender, age, or anything else, what would it be and why?
Okay, I don't know if I will stick by this. Like, I always have like I forget every single musical ever when
Yeah.
put on the spot. But right now, I've been really into Hadestown, and
Oh,
I want to be a gender bent Eurydice so bad. Like, I want to gender
yes.
bend the whole cast.
Yes.
I think it'd be so fire because I know there's so many girls I've seen like on TikTok who want to be Orpheus, but I'm like, hey man,
You could be, or I will
no,
be Eurydice, guys.
yes. Well, I honestly just want to be legit anyone in Hades Town. I
Yeah.
can't go high. I can't go high enough to be Orpheus. I can't go low enough to be Hades.
Hmm.
I can't be Eurydice. But like,
Yeah.
please, like, pull me in.
Oh my God, you would kill, and I would love to see that. Marco Johnson as Eurydice, guys. It's coming. It's
Campaign
on Broadway next
collaboration.
season.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Marco, for joining us. So, where can everyone find you, and what show are you doing next? Tell everyone that.
I'm doing Little Shop at Pinnacle High School in the Pinnacle High School Auditorium. So pull
Yes.
up. It's April 3rd through 5th.
I'll be there.
Um, yes, meet Jayvin, the man, the myth, the legend. You can find me on legit every single platform at Kameth Dongle. That's Kameth spelt like mammoth with a C, and then dongle like the thing that connects a computer and a phone.
Yes. All right, that was so lovely. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.